Okay, the next bit is related to the College of Nurses. So in March of 2014, I got a package from the College of Nurses. This is more than a year after I've been fired. And let's see. I got this book. I'm in front of a camera, so I'm not sure what you can see, but probably here. And it's called Nurses Workbook on Preventing Abuse. One is one too many. Well, you know what? I agree. So there's a workbook here of exercises that I'm expected to do. This letter says, it's dated March 25th. The College of Nurses has received information from Blue Water Health Sarnia about your nursing practice and conduct. A copy of the information received by the college is enclosed. The only information I got was a page about past employment incidents that are, I would challenge, they're very not true, for lack of better terminology. Skewed, maybe I should say, much like this whole thing is. And this one also describing incidents that, you know, they're based in some truth, but the truth is twisted. But on this, it has disclosure to the patient has occurred. Well, the patient, as far as I know, never complained. So what I would like to know is, did the hospital disclose to the patient that I had been unjustly terminated? Did the hospital disclose to the College of Nurses that I had been unjustly terminated? So, anyway, this goes on about, you know, having concerns about my nursing practice, my conduct, and blah, blah, blah. You don't want me to read the whole thing. But that's very disconcerting. And then they wanted me to go to Toronto to meet with somebody from the college, but one of the prereqs in going to Toronto to meet with this person is you must have the exercises done in order to meet with her. So I did have a conversation with a representative from the College of Nurses, and afterwards I did, you know, I told her about the incident from my perspective, and I also talked to her about perhaps the college needs to investigate the complainants. And the other thing is that the college, it's our self-regulating body, and it has regulations in place for protecting nurses from patients and protecting patients from nurses. But there's nothing in place to protect nurses from nurses. And so maybe they need to expand their jurisdiction and their mandates. So, oh, the other thing I want to mention to you, and this is for nurses' benefit, at the top of that letter it says confidential, and a lot of the, if I haven't mentioned this before, a lot of the correspondence I've gotten says confidential on it. So I did consult with a lawyer to see what does that mean when it says confidential at the top of a letter. Does that mean that I'm not supposed to say anything? Like when the college writes to me and says, this is all confidential, and if you discuss it with anyone, and they did say, if you discuss this with anyone, you can be charged with professional misconduct. Well, I hardly think that it's fair to have a manager at the hospital report me for professional misconduct and then I can't talk to anybody about it. I get discredited with my, well, I suppose I can talk to the college, but I feel compelled to bring these, what I see as injustices, to the attention of the public, because I don't know how else to get them to change. I don't know how else to get Blue Water Health. Well, this is a provincial matter now when you get nurses firing nurses, but some of these things have to change. They're so unfair. Anyway, back to the point I was talking about. At the top, the confidentiality thing. I asked the lawyer, if somebody sends a letter and it's got confidential on the top, does that mean that I'm not expected to say anything to anybody? Isn't that sort of tantamount to a unilateral contract, which I don't think is legal, and or even if there is such a thing. But he said that the privilege of confidentiality lies with me. When I get something that says confidential on it, it means that the other person is keeping this information confidential for my benefit. So if I want to share it, that is up to me. So I just wanted to check that out before I did any of this. So I just want to see if there's anything more in this College of Nurses stuff. Yeah, I decided that I wasn't going to do the exercises. I wasn't going to make another trip back to Toronto. I'm unlikely to return to nursing here, certainly not at Blue Water Health. And so I am of retirement age. Like I said, I had thought about retiring last December. So it's rather moot for me to do that, to go to that expense, to have to travel, pay all that money, do all the work for what? But I don't want other nurses to have to do this either. If I were 10 or 20 years younger, this would be so unfair. And so these are some of the things that I think really have to stop. All right, I'm going to stop right there.